Yo, sup? Back for another video, and this time it's about age gap relationships. How old is too old? How young is too young? That's what we're going to cover in today's video. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor, and this channel is all focused on dating advice for older guys. All right, let's get into this topic. So, age gap relationships. Now, there's a lot of discussion online about how old is too old, how young is too young, and all that stuff. But let me tell you, as an older guy, so I was married for over 20 years and was very self conscious of going back into the dating market. I was insecure and I had no idea what to expect. Imagine you're in this relationship for over 20 years. A lot has changed in the dating market since I started dating. Like when I started dating, basically it was like phone services and there was nothing online. You had to meet people in person, and it was just a lot harder to meet people. So now dating in 2022, when I started actually dating again, with social media, with dating apps, all the choice that you have, it was a little overwhelming. And I was self conscious about it. To be honest, I had no idea what to expect. And to my surprise, there's a large number of women out there, younger women, interested in older guys. So, full transparency, I have dated women as young as 20 and as old as 50. Okay. I have a very wide range of women that I will date, and I'm down to meet women in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. In fact, one woman, she was 45, 47. Anyways, apparently I have this thing for Latin women. So she was Peruvian. I've dated a few Peruvian women. And so she was Peruvian and she had a daughter, and I was really smitten by her. And so she was 45, and I had no problem with that. In terms of maturity, this is what you'll hear from other women. You'll say, "Oh, how could you date somebody that's 22 years old? They're not even mature." Well, you know what? I can't, I don't have a link that I can show you, but what I've heard online is that women are 12 years more mature than a man her same age. So if she's 20, she's got the maturity of a 32-year-old, and I have never had a problem with a woman that's 20 and her maturity. They're all very mature. They're just in different life cycles. So in their 20s, 30s, and 40s are different. And I'm going to cover that in a moment. So you'll get especially older women criticizing men their age or older and saying, "Oh my God, that's disgusting. Ooh, why would you date a younger woman?" Like, and just remember, guys, historically, men dated and married younger women. Why? Because of fertility reasons. Did you know that when a woman hits the age of 30, 90% of her eggs are no good? When she hits 35, it's basically good luck having a child. So, just on the basis of procreation and women's bodies, like in terms of baby making, they all need to be younger. And women innately, this has been my experience, like older guys for the financial security, for the leadership, for the maturity, and especially the maturity part. They don't like guys that are weak emotionally and still trying to build up their career, which is typically guys their own age. So if they're in their 20s and their 30s, right? So the differences between them this is my experience, and I'm going to share this with you. So if I date women in their 20s, typically, obviously they're overall usually more attractive because they're younger, they're more youthful, right? They're in peak fertility time. So, in terms of a negative, I find the women in their 20s the most flaky. Why are they the most flaky? Because they have the most options. And imagine all the guys chasing them, even if they're average looking. So they're average looking and they're getting a high volume of guys chasing them. But imagine, I keep moving around with the sun and it's like, anyways, all right, so I'll just sit closer. So imagine you're a good looking woman, how much more volume of men are chasing them. So I remember one time on a dating app, and she was maybe 32, and she said on this was on a Facebook dating app. So this isn't Hinge or Tinder. So Facebook dating app, she said that she got over 100 messages on average per day, and she was probably at best a 7, maybe an 8. So that's my complaint with the women in their 20s is they're a lot less reliable and they're a lot more flaky. The women in their 30s tend to be a lot more clingy and want a commitment faster. Not that I'm opposed to having a commitment, but they tend to, and it's because they realize the clock is ticking, the wall is coming, where they've already hit the wall, and they have less options for men, and they want to have a child, they want to get married, whatever it is. So the women in their 30s tend to, to latch on a bit too fast for me in general. The women in their 40s are a lot more comfortable with themselves, and they don't have the issues with the women in their 20s and 30s. But 9 out of 10 women in their 40s, they have children. Not that I'm opposed to that, but it's just the reality you have to accept of dating women in their 40s is that they usually will have children. I don't have any children, so that tends to be seen as a yellow flag, I guess, to say it like that. So another thing that to consider is that anyone who has a problem with the age gap, like significant age gaps, it's a Western culture thing. Latin America, those age gaps are pretty wide. Middle East, pretty wide. Africa, pretty wide. Um, Asia, not too sure about Asia, but it's mostly a Western society, North American thing. So don't get caught up on the age gap too much. And in general, what you'll find is as an older guy, especially if you're older 35, that you'll get younger women attracted to you. In fact, a lot of the women that I've gone out with, they've said they wouldn't even date a guy unless he was at least 35. So that's great for you, right? It expands your dating pools. That's the good thing. And I'm not self-conscious about it. And like I said, I've dated women as young as 20. Most of the women, just complete transparency, since I've been single, so I've been single for 2 years now, most of the women have been 30 and under that I've dated. I would say 8 out of 10. So leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that notification button because I'm dropping a video every single week and in most times every single day. Have yourself an awesome week.